Yeah.
When I think of consistency, I don't see it as every single day you are putting out something, because life does happen. I see it as you making a promise to yourself to show up and having the discipline to show up when you can show up, or when you say you will show up. So what I mean by that is, or I'm just saying this to anybody who wants to be like a content creator, or anybody who wants to do something like what I am doing, or even better, just try your best to show up as often. So even though I haven't been able to get into YouTube, because YouTube editing is a different ballgame, I have been showing up on Instagram because it's easier for me to put my video on front of me. I don't even need a mic for Instagram, and I can record videos. So I just want to tell, young people who are watching this to show up. I think that in life, what is important is that you are showing up. Don't don't like expect, don't wait for perfection. Be more interested in progressing, right?
Yeah.
Progression over perfection, and just try to show up in every anywhere that God has placed you. Anything that you find in your hands to do, whether you're in church and you're serving, or whether you're in an organization and you don't even like what you're doing there, or whether you're in school, whatever, wherever you have been placed, just try to show up and do the best you can do at that particular time. I have found that from where you are, if you're faithful in little things and you try your best to show up, people are watching you, right? And you'll be surprised that just with the way you show up and do your best, people are watching you, people are inspired by you, and God blesses that little thing, and until it becomes a big thing. So that's just something that I think that I'd like to add. And then finally, um, don't leave God. You're His baby. Like, be very vulnerable with Him, and anytime you need help, go to Him. Like, cry to Him. He's your Father. My relationship with God is not something that I joke with. I think like it's my very core and my very essence. And I think that if there's anything in my life that people see and say, this is, even from this guy is fine to anything it is that
Most of the doctrines, our beliefs, our cultures, all of them has been passed to us from generation to generation through storytelling. And even in the Bible too, you can see how Jesus actually used storytelling to pass so many parts of his messages. When you talk about the 10 virgins, you talk about the talents, you talk about the Good Samaritan, story of the Good Samaritan. He also made emphasis about the kingdom of his father using storytelling, right? But more, what gets me more fascinated is when you combine storytelling with content creation, all
mm,
right?
yeah.
When you have storytelling and content creation all together, that is what brings bring more light, more energy, more commitment. And who else can do this better than God's storyteller herself? Her name is Grace Jesuloba Owoeye, right?
Right. Jesuloba Owoeye.
Yeah, I actually try to practice it, but somehow
You didn't do badly, trust me.
somehow I think I wanted to do it very, very flow distance. So who else can do justice to this topic than our most adorable, beautiful, fine girl, we love Jesus. And I
Thank you.
most frankly, I actually started following you for more like 3 years ago, and I fell in love with the contents, right? There's what the terminologies, the people, social media people or people who made videos. they call it a catch or a hook. All right. When you are able to hook people and they are able to listen to the end of your story, the engagement, the time spent on your videos. So you try to catch me very, very young with your stories. I was like, okay, I want to see this story. You really did very, very well with your storytelling, just like Jesus. And you're telling stories about your belief in Christ, your faith, talked about family, talked about your values. And this is something that is very special. I think people will learn a lot from you. All right. So with me is one and only the special fine girl. We love Jesus. All right. Our regimen is very endless, but I will try to make it very, very brief. All right, because she is a distinguished brand storyteller and strategist, a British great scholar, and a proud alumna of Orange Academy. I'm going to ask you about Orange Academy, anyways. Uh,
Okay.
She's the founder of Vibrant Community Seeking of His Kingdom. So Jesuloba is a mission, as a mission, or she's on a mission to extend God's kingdom here on earth. And she is a seasoned writer, a compelling speaker. She's passionate about branding and aiding individuals to rediscover their true identity. Should I continue?
No, please. It's okay.
What the special part about you is about your commitment to storytelling, as it transcends. We're talking about your creativity, how you bring everything, the story, how you pass your message, and the authenticity of your content. So this is what I want us to throw more light on. Then we'll get to know the audience would like to know more about you, what you do, how you're doing right now, things to expect from you. But want to know what the build up, how you started this. So let me not take too much of your time. Let me give you the floor, and as I give you the flowers, a round of applause as we welcome the storyteller extraordinaire, Grace Jesuloba. Let's hear from you.
Thank you very much. It's such an honor to be here. Thank you for inviting me to the TGM podcast, The Growth Mindset. I'm excited for what you're doing, and I know that you're going to reach many people, many lives, and they're going to be blessed. And I see this as a legacy. I feel like it's always important to do things that other people can be blessed by. Even if whatever God has blessed you with, you have to find an outlet to pour it out and release it to others. It blesses us so that it can go to others as well. So thank you for inviting me, and thank God for what you're doing.
You.
Okay, so I think the question really is like how I got into storytelling and what brought my passion for it and all of that. Okay, so I think that from a young age, I don't really know I was into storytelling from a young age, but I was always that kid who would always do well in school. My parents are devout Christians and they play like a major role in my faith. And so in Sunday school class, I was very excited for Sunday school classes because, as kids in Sunday school class, they tell you those stories, all the stories in the Bible. So I was very fascinated by those stories. I enjoyed it. And then I grew, I got into primary school. In primary school, I was the library prefect because I liked to go. I think one of the reasons why they made me the library prefect is because I would always go to the library to pick books and read. And I was reading storybooks. I just enjoyed it. And because I was always frequenting the library, I think when it was time to pick prefect, just said this one is always, going to the library. Let's make a library prefect. In secondary school, I was in press club and then we would do stories, things that happened in school or that happened around maybe the country. We would write it, kind of like journalism and that kind of stuff. and then we would read news like newscasters to the assembly ground every Friday. I found that very fascinating. I was still reading stories. Reading novels was how I passed time basically. But I think when I got into university, because I was always like a brilliant Efiko or Efiwe bookworm. So everybody just felt like this girl will do science, doctor, know when you're smashing all your courses and
Yeah,
everything.
I can relate.
Yeah. But looking back now, I think that I would have, excelled better in, let me not say excel better because everything happens for a reason. But if I know what I know now, or if I knew what I know now, I would have gone into arts because that one was very, very natural. Like, was really natural for me. But anyways, I got into university. I was studying industrial chemistry, University of Lagos, and in my second year, I started, writing. And I think the writing came from I would listen to Bishop T.D. Jakes. I started listening to Bishop T.D. Jakes from like 16. And I would hear these things that he was saying. And in my mind, I was like, I think people need to know about this thing as well. So I would listen to him. I was listening to him religiously. And then I would take some of his words, I would tweak them, and I would put it in. People don't like to watch long things or read too many long things. So I started creating like short form content, short form stories from the things that I was hearing. And then even though I was in Faculty of Science in the University of Lagos, in 200 level, I went to Faculty of Arts. I joined the Writers Club and then we began to have meetings and then I began to like grow my writing skills. So actually in university I would write for blogs. Some of them no longer exist, but I wrote for Pen a Story, Trends Express. In school I was attending MFM Youth Church and they had like magazines that they would publish every, so I just would write and write and write. And I would say that's where the love for storytelling really, that's where it was birthed. And it was something that came very naturally to me. And so even if like we are gisting among like friends are gisting, if me I want to talk and I want to say something that happened, the way you will say it will be different from the way I'll say it because there's a way that I would say it and add Jara and just
Yeah,
throw in things and it will be so interesting. So
yeah.
people like loved to hear me speak and yeah, I would say really that's like where all of that started.
Wow, wow, wow. Interesting. From what I've gathered is the passion started from when you were small.
Yes.
It took you straight to being a library prefect before you
Yes.
got into the university. You got involved, irrespective of your faculty. You
Yeah.
had to move to arts to also participate in this and
Yeah.
showing more like voluntary. Was it paid? The one you were doing
So
for
if some of them were paid, some of them weren't.
and blogs. Oh, okay, okay. I see. Well,
Yeah.
I see where I can connect the points now. I see you were able to bring this because it's so effortless when you do that, especially when you can tell me so many things in the video. I can make so many videos, so many things on the Instagram page,
Mm-hmm.
right? So as soon as I'm done with your content, I move to another one. Most
Mm-hmm.
times the brain forgets.
Yeah.
Brain forgets what you just saw right now. But when you
Mm-hmm.
put it in a story,
Mm-hmm.
you can still remember, right?
Yeah.
So I can still remember some of your videos, all
Mm-hmm.
right? I can still remember very long ago, almost 2 years ago, but I can still remember what you said in some of your videos, right?
Oh.
So you can see the impact of storytelling,
Yeah.
and it's not something that just started. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
very very um, happy that you are here sharing it.
Thank
Then
you.
you want to throw more light about your um, Orange Academy.
Yeah.
Orange Academy? What were you guys into?
Okay. I would throw more light into that.
Yeah,
Um, but before I do, I just want to say that like God is a very intentional God.
yeah,
And I did a little write up one time and I was like, God the rerouter. So
Mm-hmm.
you know how maybe like you're driving and you're using Google Maps,
Yeah.
and maybe you go and pass the wrong turn.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes Google Maps is able to redirect you, but other times it's just very frustrating. But God is very perfect at, if you're supposed to go like this and maybe you make a mistake and go like this, some people might think that, I made a mistake, it's all over. But like if you're a child of God, there's no need for you to panic, because God is so perfect at taking you back to where you're supposed to be. If you are willing, if you're willing to like partner with him, it will put you right where you're supposed to be. It doesn't matter how long it takes. So I said that to say that even if I got into sciences, because I honestly never used like industrial chemistry. I did industrial chemistry 5 years. I
Mm-hmm.
did chemical engineering courses, mechanical engineering courses, University of Lagos. It was hard, it was challenging. I finished with a very, very good grade. But from 400 level, I knew that this is not my passion. I knew that. So, anyways, when I finished, I did NYSC. I served in Huawei Technologies and I was retained there after my service. So I worked there. But when I was working there, I just knew that this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. I knew that like there was something that came naturally to me, but I did not know how to cultivate it. I did not know where I would function. If you
Mm-hmm.
ask people, what's your talent? Some people will say, I can sing. Some people will say, I can dance. I have those talents, but it's not like I'm not exceptional at it. But something that I know I'm exceptional at, I can write, I can speak. Like I know how to coordinate things. I know how to coordinate my thoughts. So even though when I finished from school, I didn't know how I was going to cultivate it. So I was just doing that work in Huawei Technologies, doing an admin. It was an admin job, and it was very routine. Um, it was very, what's the word? I didn't enjoy it because it was a routine activity. There was
Yeah.
nothing exciting to it. And I was just praying that period. And one of my friends, her name is Simi, she said to me, Loba, you're really good, because I started my YouTube at that time. Loba,
Yeah.
you're really good at like, this thing. I really think that you should go into marketing. And I was like, marketing. And she's like, yes, because you would need these skills that you have. And I'm like, okay. Then she said that there was this academy. It's Africa's first branding academy. And she was like, she went to it the previous year that she just, apply and everything. I applied. When I applied, because you're supposed to pay about 500 or 400,000 naira for it, I was even ready to pay it just to, acquire knowledge. And I heard that they were having a scholarship. And I was like, okay. And the scholarship was an interview. And I just told God, you have given me a gift. This scholarship, I'm going to go for this scholarship. And I'm going to get this scholarship.
Oh, yeah.
And praise be to God, I got the scholarship.
Wow.
And so I went to Orange Academy. It was 4 months. It was very, very tasking,
Mm-hmm.
very, it was a very serious work. My weekends, I didn't have weekends to myself anymore. But I'm happy that I did it, because after I went to Orange Academy, I got a job in Fidelity Bank. And when I was going through the interview process, I kept on telling them I went to Orange Academy. I am I'm trained in how to be like a communications person. I know how to be like a brand strategist. I know how, like, okay, a company is not doing well. What are the things to look out for? A company has a new product. How do we get it to the target audience? All of these things were the things that I learned in Orange Academy. And so
Yeah.
they put me in a department where I could actually utilize the
What you
skills
learned.
that came naturally to me.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of writing, a lot of communications in Fidelity Bank. And yeah, I was really grateful for that. And it was one job that I enjoyed. But then I wanted to do my master's. And then I actually started in Unilag, but then strike and everything. So I just said, I think I will do this abroad. But I also wanted to do, I did not want my dad to pay millions for me to study in UK. So I told God again that it's either scholarship or nothing. No, it is either scholarship or nothing. Like my daddy is, I think he'll be 60 like very, very soon. The money is meant to use to enjoy himself, maybe like for retirement, and now carry everything and give to me. I'm like,
Yes.
nah. I finished with a good grade, so I started like looking for scholarship opportunities, and that's when the British Great Scholarship came along, and that's how I got it. So Orange Academy is, to answer your question now, is, an academy is like a school. They have
Mhm.
different courses
Okay.
where they train you on how to be, if you want to be like a digital marketer, if you want to be a brand strategist, if you want to learn copywriting, content writing, all of those things. They do a lot of courses in that school, and it's a really good school. And yeah, so that's where Orange Academy came to.
You see how you went and took me through many stories to pass this.
Yeah.
That's, yeah, that's how the brain captures things like this information. Is able to save it in bits, right?
Yeah.
So we usually call it chunking. So you put it in bits and save it in the brain. And I remember even many years later how you
Mhm.
said it. I think, is it the same Orange Academy in Netherlands? There's one in Netherlands. Is it the same company?
No, this one is in Lagos.
They
It's
also
in Maryland, Lagos.
they're also into something like this.
Yeah,
Okay,
nice.
okay. That's so interesting. So, great Britain scholar and alumna of Orange Academy. So now tell me, how were you able to you became very consistent with your content, right? Where So most people are there for the followers. They want to get followers. They can do anything to get followers. They are going so many places, even dressing somehow, all right, dancing for any songs that any beats that they see, just to be relevant, just to make sure they have this followership. All right. How come you were not changing? What's inside you? What is it that is restricting you from following the bandwagon, right?
Mhm.
Everybody is doing the same thing, and you decide to do it God's way, right? You want to do God's way, and you can be posting anything, entertainment, any trends, which will be very, very probably give you more followership. Even be posting Big Brother Nigeria and all that. So, even some people share some uh, personal pictures, videos, just to go viral. All right. So what was the reason? What is restraining you from joining all these people? Was it about your background? Is it family? Is it about your faith? Is it about, so just let us know probably what kept you going in this direction without mixing um, your kind of content together.
Thank you. So first of all, I think that people who follow the bandwagon, I think sometimes it's a process. I think that one thing I've learned now is to extend grace to people, because I've realized that like a lot of people are on a journey, right? And
Yeah.
some eventually realize themselves earlier than others, but we all want, like, at the end of the day, we all want different things from lives. But I wouldn't say that I was always like this. I think that if I started creating content 2015, for instance,
Yeah.
I don't think that it would have been the kind of content that I'm creating now. Because 2015, I was much younger. I've just gotten into the university, my second year in university. I was very naive. I did not have the convictions and values that I have now. So yeah, just to say that. But it's a combination of so many factors, really. One thing, there's this quote. It says, "To thyself be true." I think that the worst thing that anybody can do is to not be true to themselves. Like, it's to live a lie or do something that deep down, I'm someone who, if I do something funny, my conscience, it doesn't let me rest. I don't know how people do things and they sleep well at night though. But even if I do something that my spirit does not necessarily agree with, I will not have rest until I have at least tried to do the right thing. So there are some times where I would honestly try, because like you said, if I get on my YouTube and I start, shaking my bum bum, or I start putting certain kinds of content, I will go viral. But that would not be me. Like that's not the person that I am. And what has made this person that I am? First of all, my parents play a large, I have to give them credit. Um, because the kind of background that I had, it's I mean, I know some people have similar background, but mine was serious. My parents are devout Christians, and they literally, like, they brought us up in the way of God. Although it took a while for me to have my own personal relationship with God, but it's like you're programming things in the child. And
Yeah.
so when the child is grown, there might be opportunities, because I went to Unilag. Unilag is a school where anything goes. It's not like a private school where they try to like stop you from doing anything. Unilag, literally anything goes. So that programming from when I was small, even though I would try to do certain things, it's almost like you can't deviate too much. If you just try to go like this, that programming will kind of force you back. And I think that is why I'm very passionate about like parenting, and I want to be a good parent. I want to be like me and my husband when I eventually marry, to be like good parents to our children, because I think that that foundation is so key and it's so important. So that has played like a major role. So I don't do things just because I want to get likes or because I want to go viral, or all of those things. There has to be value. There's a kind of woman that I want to be. I want to be the kind of woman who inspires other people. I want to be the kind of woman who our children will be proud to watch her videos. Maybe when I'm in my 60s, my children will be watching my videos of when I was in my 20s, and it'll be like, oh wow, mom made us proud. I want to be someone who brings that when people think of, they can say that yes, this person modeled Christ, right? Not
Yeah.
perfection, because there will be flaws here and there, but I just want to like try my best. So it's important for me to put out content that in the long run, because the internet does not forget.
Very
So
true.
you can put out content today based on where you are, but then when you get to where you want to be, they're going to bring out those kind of videos. So I think that everyone should be very like mindful of the kind of things that they put on. But then pretty much, I think my faith is the number one factor, and apart from my parents' impact or parents' input, that has contributed to the kind of content that I put out. So I'm not just doing things for doing. I actually want to impact lives. I actually want to touch people. I want to be a blessing to others. I want to I want to teach people how to live like a godly life. I want people to know that you don't have to do certain things. One of my names is Ibukunlua, and my daddy said he got that name from the Bible. So it got Ibukun Oluwa is Yoruba, but the English version of the Bible, it says, "It is the blessing of the Lord that maketh rich without adding any sorrow." So there is a blessing of the Lord, and that's the path that I want to be on. So I think that's why I have stayed on that path, and I'm not faking it. It comes naturally to me. That is that is what comes naturally to me.
That's very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, it's very interesting. You see, one of the things I could pick from what you just said is what the Bible said: train up a child,
Yeah.
uh, so that when they are old, they will not depart. Right?
Very true.
So I can also relate with that during my childhood, where I stayed with my grandparents one time, and I also stayed with different people, and I kind of had so many trainings. Some of them where I had this childish irritation, all right, like you feel like this, but now it has turned to immeasurable gratitude because I can look at those things, those trainings. One thing
Mhm.
I liked about it is that my dad or my grandmom, paternal grandmom, once they try to, if they want to discipline you, they tell you they waste your time. So they know you want to play and you can't play. Just keep you there, very close to them. Just stay with us. We watch TV together, watch news, or they'll say, kneel down, raise up your hand. But the most annoying thing is you will do that for a very long time. The worst part of it is you have to prostrate and tell them thank you. So before you go, so when you are done disciplining you, you tell them thank you. So, but this is the catch. They said, I'm doing this for you because when they are no more, that's when I will appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a training. So now they are not doing it out of hate, right? So
Yeah.
whatever mindset I had about the punishments or the delay, I was wrong definitely.
Mm-hmm.
But they are not the type that usually like flogging children, right? But they will help you. They know what you like, your time. And that time, they will help you waste it a little bit by just staying with them or raising up your hand or picking pain or so. But the worst part is just flog me, leave me, let me just go, flog me. They will now tell you to tell them thank you. Say, what? Who does that? But yeah, even because of the hunger I had in me had to go because of some of these trainings, several trainings, cooking, doing so many things. Some of those things are the things that are helping me anywhere I go to, when I'm alone, when I'm other. Some of those things, anywhere in the world, I just see myself outfitting very
Yeah.
fast. Yeah. So the most important thing I also got from this is the uniqueness, having that mindset that regardless of where you are, whether somebody is watching you or not, this is who
Mm-hmm.
you are, this is who you are, and you had a good foundation
Yeah.
from that. You chose, it's a decision, you chose not do some of all these things where you had freedom. Because if you want to know people, is when you give them freedom. That's when some people abuse freedom. So maybe they are doing what they are doing because they don't have the freedom. But when you have the freedom and you are still consistent with what you are doing, that's who you are. I think 3 years is enough for me to notice your changes from your post, right? So that's basically it. Thank you so much for sharing that. To also add, I would like us to digress a little about how is it probably in the UK, you're transitioning to the UK. Can you give us, is there something you're missing in Nigeria, or this is a final japa? Because I remember one of your videos, right?
Yes.
One of your videos, and you were like, "Is this your friend? Is this
That
your friend
was in the UK.
in the UK?" Yeah. Uh, you guys were very close, right? I think she had,
Yeah.
was it your birthday or somehow, but you were like, I'm not the Japa type. But let's
Yeah.
say I love Nigeria. I'm not the Japa type. I will only visit and come back.
Yeah. You really watch my videos.
I will only visit and come back. But so when I now saw that she has Japa, I said, what's happening? Was that something changed? Is it the economy or something? Why did he change in decision? So I can remember this more than 2 years ago. I can still remember. That's why I said storytelling is a powerful tool, right?
Yeah, because it
So I can,
speaks.
it sticks, yeah, it gives you
Yeah.
memory. It's easy to memorize. So and I've seen so many contents, more than thousands of contents after that. I don't remember them. Even the ones I saw this night or this last night, I can't remember most of them, right? But storytelling is very powerful. So you are doing work of Jesus, like daughter, like father. So what I was going to ask is, how is transitioning in the UK? How is
Yeah.
it in the UK for you? And is there something, if you were in Nigeria with the situation in Nigeria, is there something you would have done differently or something? How is the UK? You plan? Is it a final jackpot, or let me know? Let
Thinking,
your thoughts. Yeah.
thank you. So you're not the first person who is saying this because I remember when like I made it public that like I was in the UK because I posted a video on my Instagram Reels, and it just showed like I had moved. And people were like, ah, you were saying that you weren't going to go, you had YouTube videos, like you joined them and everything. And it was just very funny to me. Okay, so I think first of all, to be very honest with you, I am not one of those who, while I was in Nigeria, all that I was thinking about is let me just travel, let me just leave this God-forsaken place, let me just leave this country. Like I didn't have, even though I was not happy with the things that were happening in Nigeria, but I did not have hatred or bitterness towards the country. If anything, I always felt like I will be one of those who would repair this country. I'll be one of those who would still enjoy this country. Nigeria will still be well. And so coming to the UK and the entire transition, like I said, I started my masters. I was actually doing MBA in Unilag, and we were about to have first semester exams. This was in 2022, and then there was a strike. That strike lasted from February 2022 up until I think October 2022. And I just told myself when that happened, I was like, I can't do this. I knew that I wanted to do my master's. Like, it's not like God told me do your master's, but it's just something that I wanted for myself. I just wanted to do my master's, and I wanted to do it before I got married. I was very specific. I was like, before I go to somebody's house as a wife, I want to do my master's. And so when Unilag and the whole strike and everything, I told myself in 2022 that next year I'm going to take getting a scholarship abroad serious, and I'm going to travel for my masters. I wrote it down. It was one of my goals. And then like I said, I started looking for schools. I didn't have any agents. I did all the whole application and everything myself. I searched for schools myself. I applied to 4 different schools. They gave me admission. I applied to scholarships, I think about 3. Thankfully this one came through. So the transition, so it wasn't like, I was planning that, what, I want to leave this country, I'm done, I'm tired. I honestly came here for my master's. Now, do I know if I'm going to remain here after my master's? That is what I'm not very sure yet. People keep asking me, and to be honest, I don't have a definite answer. I know that God has also allowed me to be here for such a time as this. I know, and every day I keep asking God, the purpose for which you have brought me here, make it known to me, make it plain to me. I am grateful for the exposure. I am grateful for so many things, the ease, the system that works. But I can't say that, oh, I'm so in love with this UK. I'm crazy about this UK. UK is my love. I'm not feeling that. It's normal. It's everything is still normal. Like I'm not crazy. I'm not like, oh yes, I've gotten to my promised land. Some people are always, it's just
Yeah.
like let's see how it goes. If God wants me to stay here when I'm done, fine. If not, now the transition was quite difficult. I'm the firstborn of 2 girls. So my family is mom, dad, myself, and my younger sister. So we're a close-knit family. And so this will be the first time that I'm pulled away from them, if you understand what I mean. Because
Yeah.
everything I went to do was in Lagos, primary school, um, secondary school, university. I did my studies in University of Lagos. I served my country in Lagos. So this
Wow.
is the first time. So I've always been around my parents, even if I think for a little bit because of work, I wasn't living with them. I was living with somebody, but they could just drive down because we're still within Lagos. This is the first time that I'm like pulled away from them, and I remember like my mommy was crying. It was a very at the airport. It was a sight to behold. It was really interesting, and everybody was just like sad. And but yeah, it's been not been bad to the glory of God. I think one thing that God has blessed me with is the gift of men. I've been able to like build good relationships. So even before coming here, like even if I go to Canada tomorrow, America, I don't think there's many places that I would go to that I would not like have. I already have somebody there that can like help and support and make the transition easier. So that has been very helpful. And then coming here, I joined a church. And that's one thing about church communities. It's not just that, oh, they're not saying go to church because they want to stress your life. It's because there's a community there that makes life better, that makes life easier. People who have gone through what you are just going through, people who can hold your hands and show you, things and make it easier. So the gift of men, really, people are very important. So they have helped me to transition easier. And thank God for technology. I can always talk to my parents or my sister. So yeah, I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, you did justice to the question very, very well. So you even took me to the community part because that's what I was going to ask. How is the community in the UK?
Yeah,
How you guys? How is it like? I don't know. I don't. What city in the UK are you in?
I'm in Liverpool.
Okay, Liverpool. So the population of black there, or is it you just decide to you of course you have to be international when you are there, but most times
Yeah,
you have this mutual connection with people of your color, right?
yeah,
And people
yeah,
especially from Nigeria, when they are from Nigeria, you have the Ewedu to talk about, right?
yes.
So that's what I was going to ask. How are you associating with people on that level, connecting with people? How long have you been there now?
I've been here since September, so I think it's 5 months. Is
And
it
your picture shows you are 10 years in Liverpool. Peter says otherwise. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. I'm very happy for that. So,
Thank
what I'm
you.
going to say, the community there, birthdays, do you guys have get-togethers, especially for a student environment? That's what I like coming in as a
Mhm.
student. When you come in as a student, you see other students who
Yeah,
are also like you, all right?
yeah.
So you build connections with those people. So unlike coming just like that on a different route. So I
Mhm.
feel like in the UK,
Okay, so community wise, like you said, you gravitate towards people with which you share, there's like a common ground.
yeah,
We speak the same language, not
yeah,
necessarily Igbo and Yoruba, but like we understand ourselves. And um, it's been easy, honestly, because in my class, for example, the population of Nigerians, we have a good number. Nigerians invade spaces. So, like almost every class, I would say, in this school, there's a good number of Nigerians there. So it's really easy. And one thing I have seen is I'm a very friendly person. I'm the one who would say, "Hi, how are you?" Da, 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 da. I don't necessarily get the same energy from people of, you get what I mean. I don't
yeah,
get that same. They're not as only very few of them. They're not as jovial. In fact, I put something on my Instagram the other day. They have a lot of fake smiles. Like there's no genuineness most times. And I'm
yeah,
someone who's very big on like, if I'm gonna connect with you, we have to be genuine. We have to be like real with each other. But for example, so on the class level, like in class, I don't have any problem. In church, I don't have any problem. Like I mix a lot with like, black people like me. But then at the same time, for example, in where I live, in my hostel, I am the only Nigerian. I don't even know if there's any other black, to be honest. So everywhere to my left, to my right, all the rooms around me, it's just like, white people. And they're really sweet. I'm grateful for like amazing roommates. They're really sweet. A few of them are atheists. I'm still trying to talk to God on how I can bring his gospel to them
yeah,
without being invasive, because you also have to be careful in communities like this.
yeah,
But I'm still praying to God for wisdom on that regard. But they are very kind, nice people, and we gist a lot. I tell them about Nigeria, I tell them about my culture. If I'm cooking something, they're very interested in what is that. I remember the first time I brought yam, they were so confused. They had never seen yam before, and I was like, "What?" Like I was like, "You don't know what yam is?" And I was not thinking of how do I explain yam. And I said it's like a brother to potatoes. I didn't know how to explain it, but yeah, it's just interesting to like learn from each other. They asked me about Nigeria. I asked them about this place, and yeah. So and then at work as well. Where I work, because I work in a school. I am the only Nigerian adult in that school, like a teaching staff. So it's interesting to like work environments. We keep it professional and we're just kind to each other. I don't think I've had any nasty experience, but I would really say that the core of my community or the people with which I am closest to and I have like a very tight relationship are those in my church, and majority of them are Nigerians, to be honest.
Nice, 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 nice. So I know UK is quite expensive. Yeah, it's one of the expensive cities too. So how is life there, the cost of living and all that? You might want to share more light for especially those people who are staying in Nigeria are planning to move to the UK. And this sharing this might also help to prepare their minds on
Yeah,
on um, on this kind of projects, embarking on education, furthering their education, or
yeah.
the purpose of JAPA, whichever one, regardless.
Thank you. I remember seeing a tweet before I traveled when I was still in Nigeria. I think I saw that tweet in 2022 or 2020, maybe early 2023. And this person that was tweeting was in the UK or Canada, I can't remember. But the person was a Nigerian, and the person was saying, you people are just staying in Nigeria. That country is useless. If you're a young person, you better get out of that country now. And I was very tempted to reply the person and say, do you know how expensive it is to travel abroad? But I think thankfully I didn't have it. To be honest, that tweet irritated me because I felt it was very insensitive. I felt like this person does not really know the plight of the average Nigerian. To travel abroad, as at the time that I did, would cost you, okay, I didn't have to pay for tuition fees because I was on a scholarship. But let's say that I was not on a scholarship and I had to pay tuition fees and pay everything. I'm talking about 25 million.
Yeah,
Yeah. How many Nigerians can afford 25 million? If you can afford to japa and pay 25 million, pay your school fees. The average school fees in the UK is like 15,000 pounds or 13,000 pounds if you look and even find a cheap school. How many Nigerians, and then not to talk of like, you're still going to prove that you can afford living expenses. You're still going to pay for flights. You're still going to pay for so many things, so many expenses, so many bills. Accommodation is there. So honestly, I would say that it is expensive to travel abroad. So if you're like, how will I say it? I don't think that you need to plan, is what I'm trying to say. Some people think that, oh, I'll just sell everything that I have. I'll just come here. Once I come here, I'll do this. I'll do like 50 jobs. It's honestly not as easy as that.
yeah,
Like, it's not as, some people don't get jobs like that. It took me a while before I got, but for me, I was like a beggar who had a choice. I did not want to do certain jobs. So I think
yeah,
that's why it took longer. But the point is that you're coming into this new space. You have to plan for it. And it is capital intensive. It is very capital intensive. So first of all, you need to have the money. You need to, accept your parents, can afford it, or you yourself, you'll be able to do a business that can afford it. It is very capital intensive. And living in the UK, so even if you're able to sort out, your tuition fees, you pay for your flights, you show that you have enough money in your accounts and all of those things, coming into the UK, where I stay is even less expensive because it's like, Liverpool. This area is northwest. It's not like London. London is something else entirely. But then the rent, I was telling someone the other day, it's like I am going to work, I'm making money, but my rent is consuming the bulk of my money. It is not cheap. Do you understand what I mean?
yeah,
It's not cheap at all. So like groceries, eating, all of those things are they're quite, they're not expensive. clothing, not expensive. But then rent, and then when you begin to work, now as an international student, I'm not really paying any taxes. But then when you begin to work, you also have to like pay taxes. So these are some things that I just want people to like consider. I want people to really consider. And if you do not have the money, don't feel. I have a lot of people who feel like very bad and very sad that I'm stuck in Nigeria. I think you should pray and ask the Lord, God, what would you have me do? What would you have me do even in this? The Bible says that Isaac was in a land where there was famine. And in that same land, it's in Genesis, I can't remember the exact chapter. In that same land, Isaac sowed in that land and he reaped. So I don't
Yeah.
think that everybody or every young person is supposed to be here. If I wasn't here now and I was still in Nigeria, I'm not going to be crying and saying, oh God, I'm finished. My life is over. Because it's not Nigeria that determines my life. It is God. Nigeria can be it is God I have business with. So I will cry to God and say, God, what would you have me do? Nigeria is bad. Some people are still in Nigeria and they are cashing out because they are solving problems that people will pay money for regardless. So I just think that it's something that you need to just know that it is capital intensive. Also know that it is your faith. I'm happy for the kind of faith that I have. I'm happy that I'm a Christian. I'm happy that I have communities already because it can be hard as well navigating this place all by yourself and living like people who you're close to in Nigeria. So yeah, that's just what I would say.
Yeah, you've shown more light to it. I think most times people they don't know the level of preparedness you need to put in before moving
Yeah,
abroad. There's a lot of financial, emotional, everything. Even some
yeah,
people, yeah,
everything.
they get depressed.
Mental.
Yeah, they get depressed. For the first time, they start getting depressed, depression, and start having so many reactions, right? So there's more to it. For me, I felt that during that COVID, that's when God actually prepared me for this journey because that was where I actually had more fellowship, more study with the Word of God. In fact, I read scriptures that I've not read in a long time, even Revelation severally and all that. So all those ones, I saw it as preparation. And the way my own visa came was everybody submitted their visa applications, and my class was supposed to start next week, like 7 days time. That's when I submitted my visa application. All right. So, and they just told me, yeah, well, you guys can see study from your country since there's COVID. And then I did my first 3 months. Then within 30 days, my visa came out, 30 days or 40 days, regardless of the time I submitted. Even the people that submitted 6 months before me, I had before.
Yeah,
So, but I just feel that it's about faith. I've been praying all the time, saying, this earth has been willed to Abraham and the seeds of Abraham. I'm the
yeah,
seed of Abraham. All the countries, I have access to any country in the world. I
yeah.
always declared that when I came to Canada, I was declaring from the airport that this country, we are going to conquer this country because of mentality. You don't want to come to a country like a beggar or like a thief or like a slave
Yeah,
mentality.
yeah.
You know that.
I see that a lot.
So once you know that it's not because of you have too much, it's because of your trust in God, right? You don't
Yes.
trust in men. It's not about being braggadocious, but it's just
Yeah.
about you have focus that is God, all right, or nothing. And it's God that is doing my thing. So I decided not to do things the way everybody they are doing their things because I
Yeah.
believe God needs to come in to do something. If I have to do everything on my own, so why will I be saying, I have a God and He has to make some things, so I have to give Him opportunity to also do His own part, right? So I'll say that you have really made the point. Before you come to either Canada or the UK, just know that so many things will shock you. All right, there are so many things you will not see online or that, but when you come, so many things will shock you, and you would probably start from a very low level. If you are being having escorts before, so the police are following you up and down. all those sorts of stuff, then you
You've
not be
been humbled.
you'll be humbled. So you'll be humbled. So you would have many cooks. Some people have cooks, security, house helps, and all that. You will not be the one doing the house help job if no time is not taken. So, so the table will just turn. So you need to understand where you are coming to and get prepared for it. And also, so I really want to thank you for very this rare opportunity to have you here because when I was thinking about this idea, I was thinking about who could I contact that has this Jesus and find girl and Jesus together. So I thought about I thought about you because mindset, having the right mindset is very key
Is
this
everything.
this day and age, really these end times. Some people tend to forget about their Christianity just because of environment. When you just leave Nigeria, forget about who you are in Christ and start hustling for money and doing that. Sometimes you go to the social media, you keep following everything that everybody is doing. But the Bible says, do not conform with the things of this world, but be ye transformed by the renewal of your mind. And being transformed by your mind, that means the mindset is very important to God. So that's why we talk about the growth mindset. Regardless of where you are now, there is a better version of you. So financially, you can grow better. You can grow better as a spouse. You can grow better as an individual. With your education, you can always grow better. So
Yeah.
that's why some of the people, great minds that will be bringing on great mindset, uh, like Grace. I want to have you back here. So talking about that topics. So some of the people I will bring in here, they are going to be touching on
Yeah.
different aspects. Finances very important because especially for those of us in diaspora, your finance system in Nigeria is different from the UK
Different.
and the Canada. So you need to know how money works. So I already have somebody in the pipeline from the US who will be doing that. I also have some in Canada too who will be doing that. I'm going to dwell more on finance because we need to really do big here. So then we'll see to touch on some further entrepreneurs, business owners, and all that. But the main idea, focus of this is to make sure we get value. Then I'm also willing to interview any business owner. If you are starting, you have a good idea and you want to make it loud, right? So we can probably book an appointment and we'll see how we can work together. I have so many things. I've worked with businesses, small and medium enterprise, and I know how to make small business blow in terms of branding, in terms of everything. So at least I'll be able to help in some little way I can to also help your brand to come out very fast. Thank you to big thank you to you for making this a huge success. And can you believe it? He is the first person on this podcast, all right? The first episode. So I think this is not a coincidence. It's God's arranging something. So I'm very, very happy for this rare opportunity to have you on board and you're able to share with us uh, about the importance of storytelling, how you took this personal, how you grew, um, you before you develop your mindset about creating such content, whether for a bank or a brand, and also using it to portray who you are in Christ on social media space. Regardless of everybody is making noise on the social media, posting, some people are right. So and Bible say we should guard our hearts, right? So you guard your heart because from there are issues of life. So you've been able to preserve yourself, preserve your heart, and not go away from your focus by telling these stories. I like the part of the family values that you also tell, not just the Bible part, talking about your parents and all that. There's other one too that you also shared about. You challenged me in that one. You challenged me in that one. With those your diaries, 7 diaries that you probably finished writing on all of them.
Oh,
Yeah, you say you love writing and you're almost done with the fourth or the fifth. And
yeah.
I was looking at all my books and all where am I jotting? So I was challenged. I said, no, 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 no. So I'm so happy to have you on this podcast.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so, so much. I pray that God will make you bigger and grant you your heart desires in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Yeah, I
Amen.
want to have you more and more again on several other topics. All right. I hope you'll be available then.
Yeah.
Okay.
By
Yeah.
God's grace.
Yeah. Thank you so.
This was fun. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. We
I'm
just.
excited that I'm the first person on your podcast. Yeah,
Yeah.
something that's, I've come with favor and grace. My second name
Yeah.
is Grace.
As soon as I just posted your picture, somebody sent me a message from the US and said, Joshua, I want to be involved in this. So the grace, you have brought the grace already. The grace, yeah. Thank you so much. Is there anything you'd like to add before we conclude?
Um,
Yeah.
I just want to say something because I haven't been as, even though like this has been very heavy on my content creation and my storytelling, I haven't been as consistent as I would like to be. And majorly, I think, especially when I started planning, so I got the news of my scholarship. Like they sent me a mail, you got the scholarship. I think June 26, 2023, and I traveled September 19. So that left me July, August. Wasn't up to 3 months. So I basically had to do so much within a short period of time. I had to drop my resignation. Like I had to do so much. And like I said, I didn't have anybody who was necessarily helping me. I was doing it all by myself. And I was working on the island. I was living on the mainland in Lagos. If you know what that is, that dynamic with
Yeah.
Lagos traffic, there was so much stress I was under. I just told myself, this YouTube it has to rest. When I come here, I'll pick it up. I've come here now and then settling down, adjusting to school here is different from what I was used to in Nigeria. And but I just want to say something here.
Yeah.
When I think of consistency, I don't see it as every single day you are putting out something because life does happen. I see it as you making a promise to yourself to show up and having the discipline to show up when you can show up or when you say you will show up. So what I mean by that is, or I'm just saying this to anybody who wants to be like a content creator, or anybody who wants to do something like what I am doing or even better, just try your best to show up as often. So even though I haven't been able to get into YouTube because YouTube editing is a different ballgame, I have been showing up on Instagram because it's easier for me to put my video on in front of me. I don't even need a mic for Instagram, and I can record videos. So I just want to tell, young people who are watching this to show up. I think that in life, what is important is that you are showing up. Don't don't like expect don't wait for perfection. Be more interested in progressing, right?
Yeah.
Progression over perfection, and just try to show up in anywhere that God has placed you. Anything that you find in your hands to do, whether you're in church and you're serving, or whether you're in an organization and you don't even like what you're doing there, or whether you're in school, whatever wherever you have been placed, just try to show up and do the best you can do at that particular time. I have found that from where you are, if you're faithful in little things and you try your best to show up, people are watching you, right? And you'll be surprised that just with the way you show up and do your best, people are watching you, people are inspired by you, and God blesses that little thing, and until it becomes a big thing. So that's just something that I think that I'd like to add. And then finally, um, don't leave God. You're his baby. Like, be very vulnerable with him, and anytime you need help, go to him. Like, cry to him. He's your father. My relationship with God is not something that I joke with. I think like it's my very core and my very essence. And I think that if there's anything in my life that people see and say, this is, even from this guy is fine to anything it is that's in my life that you think that is good, I attribute everything to God. God is the doer of, is the one who does good things. So if you want good things to come to you, good things that will last, that will make impacts, that will leave a legacy, don't joke your relationship with God. Make sure that that is like solid and that is tight, regardless of anything that's happening around you. Make sure that you have that personal connection with God and He knows you and you know Him. I think I'll just end with that. I think it was very important that I added that here.
Yeah, thank you very much for that final conclusion. On this note, we want to say a very big thank you for listening to this end, and a very big thank you to our guests, a distinguished guest, all right, who she has done a very big, she has laid a very big standard now, all right, from the beginning, being the first guest, but she killed it, right? She killed it. I want to say a very big thank you to you. God bless you richly.
Thank you.
Perfect all that concerns you. All right.
Amen. You
Thank
too.
you so much. On this note, I say peace out. Bye for now. Bye guys.
Bye, guys.